Still think crypto is just about volatility and risk? What if I told you that you can make money even when the market is flat? No guessing, no complicated strategies, and no unnecessary noise. All you need is to understand how funding works. This is Arbitrage Scanner, and in this video I'll show you how to profit using this strategy across exchanges. Anyway, what is funding and why is no one talking about it? Well, funding isn't just a fee, it's more like a penalty for being on the wrong side of the crowd. But here's the interesting part. Funding is a signal of where there's panic, greed and inefficiency in the market. When the funding rate is heavily negative, it means that traders are massively shorting. The market is overloaded in one direction. As a result, you can confidently go long, hedge your position on another exchange and get paid just for going against the herd. And now, the step-by-step guide on how you can make money from funding arbitrage. Step 1 is to find the asset. Using Arbitrage Scanner, we'll look for a coin where the funding rate on another exchange is big, for example, minus 1.5%. And on another, it's smaller, minus 0.1%. In our example, the difference between funding rate is 1.4%, which is considered to be pretty huge. The second step is to actually enter the trade. Here's an example where the funding rate is minus 1.5%, we go long. And where the funding rate is minus 0.1%, we go short. One important thing here is to open equal sized positions on both exchanges. 1000 tokens long on one exchange and 1000 tokens short on another. This way you earn the funding fee on the first exchange and protect yourself from price movement losses on another. And this is called hedging. Hedging means opening opposite positions on two different exchanges to protect yourself from price changes. Imagine you go long on one side and short on another. If the price moves against you on one, no problem. You lose on one side but gain the same on the other. That's hedging. You're insuring yourself from price volatility. Now let me list you all the advantages of this strategy. First, fixed payouts. It doesn't matter which way the price goes. Second, hedge protection. No liquidation, no risk. Third, quick profits. Some traders enter just 10 minutes before the funding payout, though this is for experienced traders only. And fourth, market overreaction becomes your gain. Their FOMO is your profit. And if you're still not convinced, here's an actual case of our client who managed to profit from funding arbitrage. Alright, how it started. One of our clients noticed a funding rate discrepancy for the coin VTHO between Bitget and Lbank. On Bitget, the funding rate was minus 1.52% and on Lbank it was minus 0.2%. There was also a small price spread, which is not significant. So the goal was to collect the funding payout. To earn, the client opened a long position on Bitget and hedged with a short on Lbank. Looking at the order book, we saw frequent orders between 400,000 and 600,000 tokens. The entries were done via market orders because there was little time left before the funding payout. They started with the short side, waiting for the best entry, and then matched it with a long position of the same size. The process continued to build the full position. By the way, Lbank has a handy feature that shows how many tokens you can still open a position with. Our client knew from experience that Lbank tends to limit entries when the funding payout is near. So, for the last 10 minutes, they decided to enter with 500,000 tokens at a time to complete the position. A decision made purely from experience. The client constantly rechecked entry prices on different exchanges. The closer they are, the safer their trade. Eventually, the position was built, 2,830,000 tokens, and all that was left was to wait for funding payout. As you can see, the funding was paid out. $244 earned on Bitget, $33 lost on Lbank, final net profit $211. So yeah, that's the perfect example of how you can make money with funding arbitrage. However, there are common mistakes that beginners usually face. First mistake, entering without a hedge, which is extremely risky. One price spike can wipe out your balance. Second mistake, ignoring fees. Always calculate net profit. And third mistake, chasing the maximum funding on one exchange only. This often ends in liquidation. Our video comes to an end, so some final words. Funding isn't just a technical mechanism. It's the key to a stable, well-calculated strategy. Use Arbitrage Scanner, find inefficiencies between exchanges, and profit even on the most boring market days. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. This was Arbitrage Scanner. See you next time.